So offline, we've got a bunch of friends that are big MMA guys, and not that we're trying to make this an MMA episode, but with the huge card coming up on Saturday, and it's a big fucking card, right? We were talking about who's on your Mount Rushmore, who are your 4 best all-time MMA fighters, and, you know, regardless of weight class, who do you got?
Well, GSP would have to be there. I think Anderson Silva would have to be there. You know, it's interesting because it's an interesting topic too, because especially where we're talking primarily about the UFC, you know, I mean, and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. We're not really getting into other.
And so I don't think I could put Khabib up there, even though he was undefeated for so many fights, but they weren't all in the UFC, and he was dominant in the UFC too. I'm not saying he wasn't, but he just wasn't there long enough to be there.
That's what kept coming up that kept Khabib off of Rushmore is not enough UFC fights. Although the counter argument is
down among the best, but
has anyone been more dominant in the fights they did have? Right, the counter argument though. Right. But because of that, I would probably keep Khabib off my Rushmore.
I would put probably Chuck Liddell, just because, especially when it was happening.
Liddell's like the guy that, like, and Rogan even says this too, like everybody does. Liddell is the guy that kind of put the UFC where it is.
Yeah.
Right. You point to the fight with
Tito.
Well, yeah. Well, all those fights, the Tito Liddell fights were kind of
not the last one in Bellator. That was horseshit.
But the one fight with was it Forrest and Bonner?
Yeah.
That was kind of the one fight, and Dana talks about that, where they literally watched the Nielsen ratings from that just skyrocket.
That's right.
We're like, you guys got to see this shit.
Yeah.
And it's the first time something got big ratings, and that fight was unbelievable. If no one's seen it, go back and watch the Bonner fucking Forrest Griffith fight, because it
was the final of the Ultimate Fighter.
Right. And it was literally a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
It was literally like they just stood there and threw fucking bombs.
Yeah.
And it was a bloodbath.
The hell out of each other.
Bloodbath, yeah. I won't give away the spoiler on who wins if you haven't seen it, but go back and check that one out, because it's one of the best fights ever.